Hello YouTube. Today I'm going to show you the batteries that are used in Canon cameras like the Canon 5D Mark II, 3, and 4. What I got here is one of those batteries from Canon, made by Canon. This one here is the LPE6, which is the older version. And the newer version for the Canon 5D Mark IV is the LPE6N. Now these batteries don't come cheap. They're quite expensive, and to some of us who are on a budget can't afford to get one or two for backups. So we get something like this, which is a cheaper brand. Now we all know that the cheaper brands are not really that good. As a matter of fact, I do have a problem with one of these cheaper brands. They don't hold charge. As a matter of fact, when I charge them overnight, they just don't hold the charge. It just, I don't know, the charger that I use, the light just keeps blinking and blinking, and it's supposed to stop blinking. Once it stops blinking, it's green, and it means it's already fully charged. But for some reason, one of these batteries that I got, the cheap ones, just constantly blink, and it doesn't hold a charge. And this is the battery I'm referring to. Same thing, same manufacturer, and I'll show you what's wrong with it. Okay, so this battery right here, I've decided to open it. As a matter of fact, I didn't have to open it, it just opened by itself. As you can see, it just came right off. These batteries are, they're spot welded, as you can see here. When you do mass production, you put this little thing in here, piece of metal, that you spot weld. Now, without proper quality control, these spot welds don't hold very much. As you can see, it's loose. Let's see, come right here. It just literally came off. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to solder these together and recharge it again, because for some reason when these two are not hooked up together, they're not going to hold a charge. So I'm going to try to solder these two batteries together and see if it fixes it. I'll do that right now. Okay, so what I got here is a soldering station that I'm going to use to solder these batteries that the spot weld came loose. And what you got to understand, that these batteries are, you don't want to hold the heat on these things when you solder them. Don't hold it too long, because they're very sensitive to heat. So you want to do is a quick solder, a fast solder, so that you won't damage the batteries themselves. So the first thing I'm going to do is to make sure these things are in place by putting a rubber band let's see this here. Make sure you don't disconnect the other end of this thing, or you could ruin it. Okay, so you want to make sure that you didn't damage this one side. And what we can do, if I get this thing propped up correctly, start to solder it in place. Let's see if I can can hold it down here. All right, so this is the bad connection. This one is still good, but I'm going to solder this side too so it won't come off, just like this other side. Okay, as you can see, this strip, this metal strip, is kind of up a bit, so you need to hold it down while you're soldering it in place. Now, I'm going to use, you need something that is non-conductive in this case, like this one here. It's a tongue depressor that I kind of cut in half to hold it down in place. So, piece of wood, piece of plastic, but not plastic because it's going to be hot and it's going to melt the plastic, but something that is non-conductive like a piece of wood or a pencil that you can hold it down so it'll be flushed on the surface while you're soldering it in place. So I'm going to start soldering this right now. First thing you need to do is put some flux on it. I got some liquid flux. You could use paste flux or what kind of flux you can use, but you got to put some flux on it so that way the solder would adhere to the surface. Okay, so now I'm going to put a glob of flux, solder, on the tip of this solder. Let it melt. Hold the thing down. Do a quick solder. And put some more. Put some more flux. Flux in that thing. Okay, that looks pretty good. I'm going to try the other side. Clean the tip. Okay, that looks good. Okay, the next thing to do is you need to clean what you just solder. And I got some isopropyl alcohol, which is a good solvent to clean the part that you just soldered. Make sure it's cleaned off with all the flux out of it, because flux is actually a corrosion. Well, flux can cause corrosion. Okay, looks pretty clean. Let's put it back together and charge it up. Okay, so now the battery's put back in place, and we're going to use the charger to charge it up. Put it right in, and I'm going to plug the charger to the power source. Okay, as you can see, the battery's blinking amber. When it's fully charged, it should be a solid green. And there you have it, a solid green. Both batteries are fully charged, and the problem was a disconnected contact in the battery. This is what happens when poor quality control or quality control is not enforced on cheap products. Thank you very much for watching.